Have you ever felt like a puzzle piece that doesn't quite fit? You know the feeling you're at a social gathering, watching everyone else seamlessly flow through conversations and social rituals, while you're standing there, analyzing patterns and dynamics that others seem oblivious to. Maybe you've been called different, mysterious, or even antisocial, but what if I told you that your perceived awkwardness might actually be a sign of something extraordinary? What if your tendency to march to the beat of your own drum isn't a flaw, but rather a characteristic of what modern society calls a Sigma female? Today, we're going to explore whether these independent spirits are really just socially awkward, or if they're operating on a level of genius that most people haven't caught up to yet. The rise of the Sigma female. In a world obsessed with social hierarchies and fitting in, the emergence of the Sigma female archetype has sparked fascinating discussions about alternative paths to success and fulfillment. Unlike the traditional alpha female who thrives in the spotlight and commands attention through conventional leadership, Sigma females operate in the shadows of social structures, wielding quiet but profound influence. The concept of the Sigma female has gained significant traction in recent years, particularly as society begins to recognize and appreciate different forms of strength and leadership. These women aren't just breaking the mold, they're refusing to acknowledge that a mold should exist in the first place. They represent a new paradigm of female empowerment, one that doesn't rely on traditional social structures or validation. Consider the way Sigma females approach life. They're the ones who might be running a successful online business, while others are climbing the corporate ladder, or developing groundbreaking research, while others are networking at industry events. They're not antisocial, they're selectively social, choosing when and how to engage based on their own carefully considered criteria rather than social expectations. Breaking down the Sigma traits. Understanding the Sigma female requires a deep dive into their core characteristics. These women possess a unique combination of traits that often set them apart from both traditional leadership archetypes and conventional social butterflies. At their core, Sigma females are independent thinkers who prioritize autonomy and authentic self-expression over social conformity. Their decision-making process is particularly fascinating. While others might make choices based on social approval or conventional wisdom, Sigma females rely heavily on their own analysis and intuition. They have an almost uncanny ability to cut through social noise and focus on what truly matters to them. This might mean pursuing an unconventional career path, choosing to live alone when society expects them to settle down, or maintaining a small, carefully curated social circle instead of a vast network of acquaintances. The Sigma female's approach to relationships is equally distinctive. They tend to form deep, meaningful connections with a select few, rather than maintaining numerous superficial relationships. This selectivity isn't born from social anxiety or awkwardness, it's a conscious choice to invest their emotional energy where they feel it will be most valuable and authentic. The fine line between awkward and strategic. One of the most misunderstood aspects of Sigma females is their apparent social awkwardness. From the outside, their behavior might seem strange or uncomfortable. They're often the ones who prefer to observe rather than participate, who might leave parties early, or who seem disinterested in small talk. But what many perceive as awkwardness is actually a sophisticated form of social strategy. Consider a typical social gathering. While others are caught up in the immediate dynamics of social interaction, Sigma females are often engaged in a deeper level of observation and analysis. They're not just seeing what's happening, they're understanding why it's happening, predicting what might happen next, and storing valuable information for future reference. This strategic approach extends beyond social situations into every aspect of their lives. They're the ones who might seem to be falling behind in the rat race, only to emerge years later with an innovative solution or achievement that others never saw coming. Their apparent social awkwardness is often just a byproduct of operating on a different wavelength, one that prioritizes long-term understanding over immediate social gains. The misunderstood genius. The genius of Sigma females often lies in their ability to see patterns and connections that others miss. While their peers might be focused on climbing social ladders or following predetermined paths to success, Sigma females are typically engaged in deeper, more nuanced forms of problem-solving and creation. Their minds work like sophisticated pattern recognition systems, constantly processing information and making connections that might seem random or irrelevant to others. This unique way of thinking often leads to innovative solutions and breakthrough insights. It's not uncommon for a Sigma female to solve a complex problem while appearing to be completely disengaged from the situation at hand. The traditional metrics of intelligence and success don't always capture the unique genius of Sigma females. Their brilliance often manifests in unexpected ways through creative solutions to long-standing problems, through the ability to predict trends before they emerge, or through the development of entirely new approaches to existing challenges. The power of being different. In a world that often demands conformity, the Sigma female's greatest strength lies in her willingness to embrace her differences. This isn't just about being contrarian or rebellious, it's about recognizing that traditional paths and approaches aren't the only routes to success and fulfillment. Sigma females have an innate understanding that power doesn't always come from being the loudest voice in the room or having the most connections. Sometimes, true power lies in the ability to observe, understand, and act with precision when the moment is right. Their influence often spreads through the quality of their ideas and actions rather than through traditional networking or social maneuvering. This different approach to power and influence can be particularly effective in today's rapidly changing world. While others might be caught up in maintaining appearances or following established protocols, Sigma females are often focused on developing genuine expertise and understanding. Their power comes from their ability to see through superficial trends and focus on substantive developments and opportunities. Social intelligence vs. social conformity. Perhaps one of the most fascinating aspects of Sigma females is their unique relationship with social intelligence. While they might appear to be less socially adept than their more outgoing peers, they often possess a deeper understanding of social dynamics and human behavior. This enhanced social intelligence manifests in subtle but powerful ways. Sigma females tend to be excellent judges of character, able to spot authentic individuals among those wearing social masks. They can often predict how social situations will unfold based on their careful observation of patterns and behaviors. Their understanding of social dynamics isn't theoretical, it's practical and often eerily accurate. The key difference is that Sigma females choose when and how to apply their social intelligence. Unlike those who might automatically engage in expected social behaviors, Sigma females are more strategic in their social interactions. They might choose to remain silent in a group discussion, not because they're uncomfortable, but because they're gathering information or because they've determined that speaking wouldn't add value to the conversation. The success factor. Success for Sigma females often looks different from conventional definitions of achievement. While they're certainly capable of excelling in traditional terms, career advancement, financial success, academic achievements, they often pursue success on their own terms and timeline. Their approach to success is typically more holistic and long-term oriented. Rather than focusing on quick wins or visible achievements, Sigma females tend to build foundations for lasting success. They might spend years developing skills or knowledge in areas that others overlook, only to emerge as experts when those areas suddenly become crucial. This success often comes from their ability to see opportunities that others miss. While the crowd might be rushing toward obvious opportunities, Sigma females are often exploring uncharted territory, developing unique skills, or preparing for future trends that others haven't yet recognized. Relationships and the Sigma female. The romantic and personal relationships of Sigma females present a fascinating study in modern human connections. Unlike their more socially conventional counterparts, Sigma females approach relationships with a unique blend of independence, depth, and strategic thinking that often puzzles potential partners and friends alike. In romantic relationships, Sigma females often challenge traditional dating norms and expectations. They're not interested in playing games or following the typical dating script that society has written. Instead, they seek authentic connections that allow for both deep intimacy and personal space. This can be confusing for potential partners who might mistake their need for solitude as disinterest or their analytical approach to relationships as emotional distance. What makes Sigma females particularly interesting in relationships is their ability to maintain strong boundaries while fostering genuine connections. They don't suffer from the common fear of being alone that drives many people into unfulfilling relationships. Instead, they view solitude as a valuable state that allows for personal growth and reflection. This self-sufficiency can be intimidating to some partners, but those who understand and appreciate it often find themselves in uniquely fulfilling relationships. Friendship with a Sigma female is equally distinctive. They typically maintain a small but incredibly loyal circle of friends, choosing quality over quantity in their social connections. These friendships tend to be deeper and more meaningful than average, characterized by authentic conversations and genuine support, rather than social obligations or superficial interactions. The workplace dynamics. In the professional realm, Sigma females often become the secret architects of success, operating in ways that challenge traditional corporate culture while delivering exceptional results. Their approach to work is marked by a unique combination of independent thinking, strategic planning, and quiet competence that can revolutionize workplaces if properly understood and utilized. The typical office environment, with its emphasis on team meetings, group brainstorming sessions, and constant collaboration, might seem at odds with the Sigma female's natural tendencies. However, their ability to work independently, think critically, and solve complex problems often makes them invaluable team members, even if their methods differ from the norm. What's particularly noteworthy is how Sigma females navigate office politics. While others might get caught up in workplace drama or social climbing, Sigma females typically remain above the fray, focusing instead on substantive achievements. They're often the ones who quietly solve major problems while others are busy networking or managing their image. Their leadership style, when they choose to take on leadership roles, tends to be more focused on results and empowerment than on maintaining hierarchical structures. They lead by example and competence rather than authority or charisma, often creating highly effective teams that operate with unusual independence and efficiency. The creative edge. The creative processes of Sigma females represent a unique intersection of analytical thinking and innovative expression. Their creativity isn't bound by conventional approaches or traditional methodologies. Instead, it emerges from their distinctive way of observing and processing the world around them. Unlike more socially oriented creatives who might draw inspiration from group brainstorming or collaborative processes, Sigma females often find their most profound creative insights during periods of solitude. Their ability to step back from social noise and mainstream thinking allows them to see connections and possibilities that others might miss. His creative approach manifests in various ways. In art, they might develop entirely new styles or techniques rather than following established schools of thought. In business, they often innovate solutions that others haven't considered because they're not bound by the way things have always been done. In technology, they might see applications and possibilities that others overlook because they're not constrained by conventional thinking. What's particularly fascinating about Sigma female creativity is how it often combines seemingly unrelated elements to create something entirely new. Their observant nature and ability to store and process information from various sources allows them to make unique connections and generate innovative ideas that others might never conceive. The balance of power. The way Sigma females handle power represents a masterclass in subtle influence and effective leadership. Unlike traditional power structures that rely on visible authority and direct control, Sigma females often wield influence in more nuanced and sophisticated ways. Their power dynamic is particularly interesting because it often operates outside conventional hierarchies. They don't need official titles or positions to make an impact. Their influence comes from their competence, insight, and ability to see and solve problems that others miss. This can make them particularly effective in modern organizations where traditional power structures are becoming less relevant. What's remarkable is how Sigma females maintain their influence without getting caught in power struggles or political games. They often achieve more by staying true to their principles and focusing on substantive contributions rather than trying to manipulate or control others. This authentic approach to power can be particularly effective in today's world, where transparency and genuine value creation are increasingly important. Their relationship with power is also characterized by a strong ethical component. Sigma females typically aren't interested in power for its own sake, but rather in what they can achieve with it. They're often focused on using their influence to create positive change or achieve meaningful goals, rather than personal aggrandizement. The future is Sigma. As we look toward the future, it becomes increasingly clear that many of the traits associated with Sigma females are becoming more valuable in our rapidly evolving world. The ability to think independently, work autonomously, and adapt to change while maintaining a strong sense of self is increasingly crucial in our digital age. The rise of remote work, digital transformation, and the gig economy has created an environment where traditional social structures and hierarchies are less relevant. The Sigma female's natural inclination toward independent work and self-directed learning makes them particularly well-suited to these emerging paradigms. Their capacity for deep observation and pattern recognition becomes especially valuable in a world increasingly driven by data and rapid change. While others might struggle to adapt to new realities, Sigma females often thrive in environments that require innovative thinking and adaptive strategies. The future workplace, with its emphasis on flexibility, innovation, and results over presence, seems almost designed for the Sigma females' natural strengths. Their ability to work independently, think creatively, and adapt to change positions them perfectly for success in this evolving landscape. Embracing the Sigma way. The journey of embracing the Sigma female identity is both challenging and liberating. It's about recognizing that what society might label as quirks or shortcomings are often unique strengths that can lead to extraordinary achievements and profound personal fulfillment. For many Sigma females, the path to self-acceptance begins with understanding that their natural tendencies, the need for solitude, the preference for deep thinking over small talk, the desire to forge their own path aren't flaws that need to be corrected, but rather valuable traits that set them apart. This realization often comes after years of trying to fit into conventional social molds and feeling like something was wrong with them for not quite fitting in. The process of embracing the Sigma way involves several key realizations. First, there's the understanding that social energy is a finite resource that needs to be managed wisely. Sigma females learn to honor their need for alone time without guilt, recognizing that their periods of solitude are often when they're most productive and creative. This isn't about being antisocial, it's about being selectively social in ways that align with their natural rhythms and energy patterns. Second, there's the recognition that their observant nature is a superpower, not a social handicap. The ability to read rooms, understand dynamics, and see patterns that others miss isn't just useful, it's increasingly valuable in a world that's becoming more complex and interconnected. Their tendency to observe before acting, to analyze before engaging, often leads to more thoughtful and effective actions. Third, there's the appreciation of their unique approach to problem solving. Sigma females often tackle challenges from unexpected angles, drawing on their broad observations and ability to make unusual connections. This different perspective frequently leads to innovative solutions that might never have been discovered through more conventional approaches. The art of strategic solitude. One of the most misunderstood aspects of Sigma females is their relationship with solitude. This isn't about being antisocial or avoiding human connection. It's about understanding the power of strategic solitude as a tool for growth, creativity, and self-development. Sigma females have mastered the art of using alone time productively. While others might view solitude as something to be avoided or endured, Sigma females recognize it as an essential space for processing information, developing ideas, and recharging their mental and emotional batteries. They understand that some of the most significant breakthroughs come not from constant social interaction, but from periods of focused, solitary reflection. This strategic approach to solitude manifests in various ways. In their professional lives, they might choose to work remotely or in positions that allow for significant independent work time. They often produce their best work when given the space to think deeply and work at their own pace, free from the constant interruptions and social demands of traditional office environments. In their personal development, they use solitude as a time for self-reflection and skill building. While others might fill their free time with social activities, Sigma females often invest their alone time in learning new skills, developing their knowledge, or working on personal projects that align with their long-term goals. In their creative pursuits, they recognize that solitude is often the fertile ground from which innovation springs. Their best ideas typically emerge not from brainstorming sessions or group discussions, but from quiet periods of contemplation and connection-making. The digital age advantage. In today's digital landscape, Sigma females find themselves uniquely positioned to thrive. Their natural tendencies align remarkably well with the demands and opportunities of our increasingly connected, yet physically distant world. The rise of digital communication has created an environment where their thoughtful, measured approach to interaction becomes a strength rather than a limitation. In the world of social media and online presence, their ability to observe, analyze, and engage strategically often leads to more meaningful and impactful connections than the constant, surface-level engagement that characterizes much of online interaction. Their comfort with independence and ability to work autonomously makes them ideal candidates for the growing remote work economy. While others struggled with the transition to remote work during recent global changes, many Sigma females found themselves naturally adapted to this new way of working. The digital age has also provided new platforms for Sigma females to express their ideas and share their insights without having to navigate traditional social hierarchies. Through blogs, podcasts, online courses, and other digital mediums, they can reach and influence others while maintaining their preferred level of social interaction and personal space. The evolution of leadership. The Sigma female approach to leadership represents a fascinating evolution in how we think about influence and authority. Their leadership style, often subtle and non-traditional, is becoming increasingly relevant in modern organizations that value innovation, authenticity, and results over hierarchy and traditional power structures. Unlike conventional leaders, who might rely on charisma or authority, Sigma female leaders often influence through expertise and competence. They lead by example, demonstrating deep knowledge and skill in their areas of focus. Their authority comes not from their position, but from their proven ability to solve problems and generate results. Strategic vision. Their observant nature and ability to see patterns often allows them to anticipate changes and opportunities before others, making them valuable strategic leaders, even if they don't fit the traditional leadership mold. Authentic influence. They don't try to conform to stereotypical leadership styles, but instead develop their own authentic approach based on their natural strengths. This authenticity often resonates deeply with others, creating strong loyalty and respect. In conclusion, the future belongs to the different. As we wrap up this deep dive into the world of Sigma females, it becomes clear that what might appear as social awkwardness often masks a unique form of genius, a different way of thinking, observing, and engaging with the world that offers tremendous value in our rapidly evolving society. The traits that might have once been seen as limitations, the tendency to observe rather than immediately engage, the preference for depth over breadth in relationships, the comfort with solitude are increasingly becoming advantages in a world that values authentic contribution over social performance. For Sigma females themselves, the key is recognizing and embracing their unique attributes rather than trying to conform to traditional social expectations. Their awkwardness isn't a flaw to be fixed, but rather a sign that they're operating on a different frequency, one that often leads to deeper insights, more meaningful connections, and more innovative solutions. Or for society at large, understanding and appreciating Sigma females isn't just about inclusion or diversity, it's about recognizing that different ways of thinking and being are essential for solving the complex challenges we face. The future belongs not to those who fit in perfectly, but to those who think differently, observe deeply, and aren't afraid to chart their own course. As we move forward into an increasingly complex and interconnected world, the Sigma females' combination of independent thinking, strategic observation, and authentic self-expression may well prove to be exactly what we need. They remind us that sometimes the ones who don't quite fit in are the ones who end up changing the world. Remember, in a world that often celebrates conformity and social performance, the courage to be different, to observe, to think deeply, to chart your own path might just be the highest form of genius. Whether you're a Sigma female yourself or someone who knows one, embrace the difference. After all, it's the unique perspectives and approaches that often lead to the most extraordinary breakthroughs and achievements.